How's it going, Go Fight Pal fans? This is Miss Matone GFP, and welcome to the first quarter of the first round of the IFC Terminal Velocity Tournament. This one is going to feature brackets 1 and 2. We have established those brackets a little while ago, and let's just say I am really looking forward to seeing who makes it out of the first round. And who knows, we might not even get a full 16. Or a full 8, actually, since there are 8 matches on the card here tonight. So, to go over the prerequisites, since this is the first video for this, the rules for the terminal velocity are all matches are 5 minutes and 5 seconds. That is the rule for all terminal velocity matches. Other than that, it follows standard rules, so disqualifications, countouts, all those are a thing. We have a timer here in the background that will be running. And with this timer, if it hits zero, then the match is a draw. And in the case of the tournament, that means both wrestlers are eliminated. Our first matchup for this tournament will be Vane versus Brickyard Brown. This one is going to be a highly competitive match. After our first roll, we'll start the timer. In the blue corner will be Brickyard Brown. In the red corner will be Vane. So, let's go. Checking both fast forwards. We didn't get any fast forwards, so it's going to be Vane starting us off here. And he's going to start off with the boa choke. And the boa choke going to get the pop. Brickyard Brown needs to avoid a 3, gets a 4. That will remove the 3. And now Vane going to say, take a look. Brickyard Brown doesn't fall for it. And goes for a leg drop. That's dodged by Vane. Brickyard Brown with the Brick Blaster. Vane needs to avoid a 1 or 4. Gets a 2. That will remove the 4. Brickyard Brown going to continue on the offense with a roundhouse right. Vane rolling his pop again. Needs to avoid a 4. Gets a 1. That will remove the 5. And Brickyard Brown going for the Brick Blaster again. Vane needs to avoid a 1, 4, 5. Gets a 5. Vane needs a 1 to stay alive. And he doesn't get it. Brickyard Brown from Deep South is going to continue on in the tournament. Sorry, Vane. Looks like all your efforts were, well, in vain. Gotta reset the timer here. Our next match is going to be a very interesting one. It is the CSFC Grand Prix Fighting Champion, or the CSFC Grand Prix Champion, Dante Giordano, taking on Warhawk. Alright, and here we go. And they both get each other's fast forwards. Dante needs to avoid a 3. Warhawk needs to avoid a 6. And they don't get it, so we are going to remove those numbers now. I need to remember I don't have that as an option. Rerolling for initiative again, and it's Warhawk that will take it with a spiritual slam. And that's it. And Warhawk locking in the Iron Scorpion. Dante needs to avoid a 1, 2, or 3. Gets a 5. That will remove the 4. That'll make the Iron Scorpion more potent. There's the High Chief Chop. That is a reroll into the Rumble rating. Both have a +3, so it's whoever gets higher, and it is Warhawk that gets the higher number with a Spiritual Slam. And Dante Giordano counters it into the Cetus Slam. Warhawk needs to avoid any even number, gets a 1, and that will remove the 2. Dante Giordano with a falling knee smash. That's hit. Dante Giordano, power headlock. And it's going to add 1, so we'll see which number it adds. It will add to the 1. And now Warhawk dodges the power headlock, only to get hit with the C to slam. Needs to avoid a 1, 2, 4, or 6. Gets a 1. Warhawk needs a 2 or 5. And he doesn't get it. So that is Dante Giordano winning this match and moving on to the next round for Central Space. Sorry, Warhawk. Looks like it wasn't your time. Reset the timer. Probably the most tedious part of all this, I'm not even gonna lie. We now go to Industrial Lands versus Mid-Atlantis as Core takes on Pumpkin Jack. Let's go. Checking fast forwards, and Pumpkin Jack actually gets one of his 3 fast forwards. Jeez Louise. And Core needs to avoid a 2. Gets a 5. That will remove the 2. And Pumpkin Jack with an All Hallows Elbow. And Core counters it with a Rumble rating. Both have a +2 in this case. Pumpkin Jack will take it with a Spooky Slam. And that's blocked. Rumble rating. Pumpkin Jack will keep the momentum going on his side with a Pumpkin Smasher. Dodged. All Hallows Elbow. Core counters into a Rumble rating. And that's going to be Core with the control with a Death Wish driver. Pumpkin Jack counters it. Into the face remover, needs to avoid a 1 here. Gets a 6, so he's not disqualified. Core needs to avoid a 2 or 4. Gets a 6, and that will remove the 5. Pumpkin Jack with a Rumble rating. And it's going to be Pumpkin Jack to keep the control with another Rumble rating. And Core will actually take it with a Cyclone Punch. Pumpkin Jack reverses. Pumpkin Jack will go into the Rumble rating. And Core takes the initiative. Goes for the Cyclone Punch. Pumpkin Jack counters it. Into the face remover, needs to avoid a 1 for disqualification, gets a 5. Core needs to avoid a 2, 4, or 5, gets a 1, and that will remove the 3. Pumpkin Jack with a Spooky Slam. That was off the table. Core counters it into a Hardcore Hammer, and it's a pop. Pumpkin Jack needs to avoid a 4, gets a 5, so that's Pumpkin Jack's first fatigue token. Core down with a Hardcore Hammer. Pumpkin Jack counters it into the All Hallows Elbow. It's a pop. Needs to avoid a 2, 3, or 5. Gets a 4, and that will remove. Well, cannot remove the 2. That will remove the 4. Pumpkin Jack with a Pumpkin Smasher. And that's hit. And the face remover again needs to avoid a 1 for DQ. Doesn't get disqualified. Core needs a 1 or a 6 to stay alive. Gets a 5. He needs a 6. And he doesn't get it. Pumpkin Jack completely decimating Core. And Pumpkin Jack will move on to the next round. Core, sad to say, you didn't have the core strength to get it done. I really need to stop coming up with puns for these guys. Our last match in this bracket is going to be Flex Frenzy versus Victaris. Team Rocket Promotions versus Fire Island. Gonna be looking to make this one relatively interesting. Here we go. Let's roll. And it's going to be Flex to start us off. Hitting the Hacksaw Hammer. And Victaris counters it into a Kaniku Special. Flex needs to avoid a 3, 4, or 6. Gets a 1. That will remove the 3 for now. Kaniku Special again. 3, 4, 6. Gets a 5. I don't know why I did that, because the 4 is the other one that needed to be removed there. Muscle Ripper needs to avoid a 3, 4, or 5. Gets a 3. Flex needs a 2 to stay alive, and he doesn't get it. That was our quickest match of the round. And Victaris will keep going in the tournament. Flex is done. Some interesting developments in the first round so far. Now we move on to the second bracket. Starting off with Rigzilla versus Professor Kushimi. Fast forward check, no fast forward. Professor Kuroshimi is going to start us off with a UFO blast. He needs to avoid a 1 and a 6, and he's disqualified. So, Professor Kuroshimi got himself disqualified in the first round. So, bit of a disappointment there. But Rigzilla does move on, so that does guarantee North Forest has someone in there. Next up, we have Crimson Mask versus Turkish Terror. Both these two already have someone coming in. So, let's go. Fast forward check, no fast forward. Crimson Mask will start us off with a Crimson Salt. And it's a pop. Turkish Terror needs to avoid a 4, gets a 1. That will remove the 4 from that. The Tompkins driver. It's a hit. Rumble rating. And it's Turkish Terror to get control with a shoulder crack. And that's dodged. A flurry of fists, and Crimson Mask counters it into the El Prado sleeper. Turkish Terror needs to avoid a 3 or 4. Gets a 5. That will remove the 6. And the Tompkins driver. Turkish Terror counters it into a rumble rating. And Turkish Terror will keep control with a Turkish Stomp. Crimson Mask needs to avoid a 1, 2, 5, and 6. Gets a 2. He needs a 2 or 4 to stay alive. And he gets a 2. So he is still in this match. Flurry of Fists. It's hit. Another Flurry of Fists. It's a pop. Crimson Mask needs to avoid a 2. Gets a 5. And that will remove, well, cannot remove the 2. It'll remove the 4. So that's another number that the Turkish Stomp doesn't cover. So the headbutt, another pop, needs to avoid a 2 or 4. Gets a 4, needs a 2 and a 4 now, and he doesn't get it. Did the inverse way. Turkish Terror gets the win in this first round match. Sorry to all the El Prado fans out there. Crimson Mask is out of the running. Up next for our 7th match of the night, it is Killjoy versus Hard Knocks Haggerty. I mentioned this loosely. Killjoy did do well in the All-Earth Cup, getting 3-0, so he's not unfamiliar with tournaments. Let's see if he can do well in this one. Checking fast forwards, no fast forwards. Hard Knocks is going to get control with a final hammer. Killjoy needs to avoid a 2 and a 5. Gets a 4. That will remove the 2. Skull Cross Breaker. It's blocked. Double Lariat. Killjoy counters it into some Killer Strikes. Hard Knocks counters it into a Skull Cross Breaker. It's a hit. Rumble rating. Both have a +3. And it's going to be Hard Knocks to keep control with a Skull Cross Breaker. Killjoy counters it. Into the proper burial. Hard Knocks needs to avoid a 4. Gets a 1. That'll remove the 4. And Killjoy with a suffocating sleeper. Hard Knocks Haggerty counters it into the Mad Gear Masher. It's a hit. Skull Crossbreaker, pop. Killjoy needs to avoid a 2. Gets a 3. That will remove the 5. So that's the final hammer number, which is there. It's a 6. So he's still alive. He is removing the 3. Mad Gear Masher. It's blocked. And the final hammer needs to avoid a 2, 3, and 5. Gets a 4. Can't remove the 3. He can remove the 6. Killjoy in serious trouble here. Double lariat. Killjoy needs a 1 and a 4 to stay alive. Gets a 3. He needs a 4 and a 6. Doesn't get it. Hard Knocks Haggerty is going to win this one for Mid-Atlantis. Killjoy not giving the Industrial Land a good start. Getting knocked out in the first round. And now we move on to our final match of the round. It is Team Rocket Promotions' Space Lord taking on Spice Zone's current Rising Spirit of Nature champion, Night Ranger. Here we go. And we got the fast forward for Night Ranger. So Space Lord needs to avoid a 5. Gets a 4. So that will remove the 5. Night Ranger. Sister Christian. Space Lord counters it into a Rumble rating. And it's going to be Night Ranger to get control with a High Road Haymaker. Space Lord counters it into the outer limits. Night Ranger needs to avoid a 2 and a 3. Gets a 6. That will remove the 2 from Night Ranger. Lost in Space. Dodged. And the Galactic Pile Driver needs to avoid a 2 and a 6. Gets a 5. And that will remove the 6. 5. Mission to Mars. It's blocked. Rumble rating. And Night Ranger gets back, giving a touch of madness. Space Lord counters into a Rumble rating. And it's going to be Space Lord to keep control with a Rocket Ride. To hit. Rumble rating. And Night Ranger will keep things going with a High Road Haymaker. To hit. Sister Christian. Oh, whoops. It's a 3, so that's dodged. Missile Dropkick. Space Lord counters it. Into the Galactic Pile Driver. Needs to avoid a 2 or a 6. Gets a 2. He needs a 6. And he doesn't get it. Space Lord wins this battle. And Night Ranger, well, he's going to be focused more now on defending the title on my next Spice Zone card. Sorry to see you go, Night Ranger, but it's for the best. And that is the first quarter of the first round. Here are the confirmed round 2 matches. It's going to be Brickyard Brown from Deep South taking on the CSFC Grand Prix champion, Dante Giordano. Pumpkin Jack from Mid-Atlantis is taking on Victaris from Fire Island. Rexzilla from North Forest is taking on Turkish Terror of Deep South. And finally, Hard Knocks Haggerty of Mid-Atlantis is going to take on Space Lord of Team Rocket Promotions. These are the ones moving on. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I'm going to do the rest of the videos in this same format. The Be sure to be here at 5:05 Central Time so you don't miss out on anything regarding this insane terminal velocity tournament. Well, you're not gonna miss it anyway if you watch it later, but I would love for you all to be in the premiere so you guys could be here with me for some of these insane matches that are coming up down the line. Sorry, just getting the next round together. Our next round will feature brackets 3 through 4. We have them all set up. And we'll see who moves on and we'll see who doesn't. If you haven't already, be sure to like this video, be sure to comment, be sure to subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on anything Go5 Power related. Not just these videos, but also any future videos that I may do. Requests are still open, and you can also check me out on the pro boards. You can find me on the Discord and the Facebook page for Go5 Pow if you wish to be in contact with me. With that said, this has been Miss Matone GFP, signing off.